That's all right. Give me a minute. All right. So you see the topic already and the title. Um, I wanted to start this off today talking about a situation in Memphis where um, I think that title was kind of missed, put up on the news channel. But anyway, it's surrounding that topic where the parents are getting into trouble for the children's situation at home. Hold up. Well, it's kind of similar to a personal situation where, um, oh, just a minute, hold They must be doing a lot of work over there. Now, this Pacific Live is for the dads, fathers of more than one or two children. Now, we already know where there are situations where fathers have to get up and separate themselves sometimes for situations where the other parent the other parent is living out of control. And when there's a stable home, um, and that situation is happening, like I said, a lot of people will make an excuse and say, well, automatically after the father has left the home, because the home's getting out of control, that they are the problem. And there's many men dealing with that situation, or currently still dealing with it. Just society in itself has contributed to the behavior of the mothers in the homes. And I stated this a lot. Oh man, I say this a lot in a lot of my videos because um, instead of listening to the head of the house, because here in this specific in Babylon, they don't really care. They're not here to care. Okay, they're here to do um, chaos, regardless how you see it or not. But they have to. There's a so-called balance, but the balance is not being met right now because it's being it's starting to expose itself. Let's put it that way. And when there's no balance in the home out here in the world, it'll be chaos. Now, um, it's hard for dads that actually are or have fought to their most power. Now, majority of men don't have that much power because, of course, in a society you need major money to fight for your children whenever whatever situation has erupted. And some men just feel as though, look, I done gave up, I'm done, I don't want to come back, or I don't want to do with you personally, but I'll socialize with my children. Now, sometimes by the time you get to your child or your children, um, the other parent has corrupted them mentally. And there are other parents that have, try not to go too far into this machine, there's other parents that have trauma that they have not overcame, or situations or a mindset that they refuse to let go. They will instill it into these little children, and they become older, they become teenagers, and they do repeat the same cycle that one parent that's giving them freedom to do whatever they want, but it seems like it's glorified to them because it's allowing them to do whatever they want. So when they get in the midst of getting into trouble, they were not influenced. Sometimes it'll be a little bit of positive influence there before the father left the house, but you're young, so sometimes when you're young you don't memorize everything that the good parent is telling you, so you'll make bad mistakes. So um, a lot of these children are going into their adulthood and they're angry with one parent, not realizing until they get older, because that's how long it takes sometimes, that, oh, my life done went into so much trouble now, but in the beginning when my dad was home, everything was kind of okay. Why am I suffering, or why am I going through these things? So then they wait till they 30, 40 something years old. Sometimes take a little less than that. I'll give it credit. And they realize, yo, somebody's lying to me here. Had my mom lied to me about my dad. What is going on? I don't feel good as I used to feel good when dad was around. You know what I'm saying? And the way this society is run now, all of a sudden, the fathers are, because they are the strength of the home and the protectee of any and everything. That includes the school district, the streets, police department, medical, or whatever. It don't matter. If you're a good, strong dad and you understand how to maintain a home, or if you don't, you just, used to taking care of other people's children in the beginning like I had, then you understand how to maintain a household. But if the other parent is not able to do so, but know the right thing, but want to decide to do the opposite, they set a bad future for the other child, the other children. So there's a lot of, like I said, dads that just haven't seen their children in years. Dealing with depression, dealing with situations where, hey, I had these children and I can't, you're keeping them away from them, or you're blocking them, or you're lying, or you're setting up situations to deem yourself as if you're being a positive person. Oh man, I hate these notifications. So, like I said, some of these dads, okay, and I'm talking about the positive side. I'm not talking, I don't fuel the other side, but some of these dads will become angry or become violent or verbally say things that they damn sure don't mean, but they just feels as though that this is my last resort, or some shit like that. Okay. Not having the wisdom or knowledge to understand there's different ways to fight situations. Right? That's it. I literally seen a couple of dads sit on, camera or whatever and cry because they haven't seen or they can't. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think as a man, if you feel as though you want to cry about your children, you tear, you feel bad, mention it, say it. Don't hold no feelings back. You know what I'm saying? Be you, display your anger, but do it in a positive way. Because I mean, this is what they look for. And I'm talking about those ignorant, nasty women who do these things when there's children in the midst. You know what I'm saying? The most evil, nastiest thing is for a female to sit here and say, I'm contacting you for my children, such and such, but then you turn around and you tell them, I hear so many stories of, oh, you're not the father, or this and that. When something goes on, or you telling them about themselves, you've done something wrong to cause this for my child. Now all of a sudden they're not the father. People like that say verbal things to the dads out of spitefulness or evilness, or just try to, like I said, revenge for whatever reason. But Babylon loves the fact that you separate yourself. Like forming these. It's okay to have these father groups, this and that, and helping each other out. Okay, I understand that, but you got to realize this too. No matter how stupid and bad the other parent is being, don't separate them for the sake of you being the male and the father. That's still the other parent, as long as it's about the child or the children. But like I said, there's people out here that really do things for years. They do things for years. They move from place to place to separate from the other parent just for the hell of it. And as long as they get that glory of innocence, oh, I'm innocent, I didn't do anything, and nobody knows what happened, really, that's dangerous. That's dangerous and that's evil, because in the end, the truth always comes out what you do to people. You know what I'm saying? And majority of the time, that other parent has a record of constant unfitness towards children. But yet, this so-called professional place or these professional districts or services are so smart and so intelligent that they know every fucking thing, that's being sold. Not reading between the lines, not paying attention to what's really taking place. I think if you have a full record of family services called on you, okay, that you should be looked out for. Okay, you should be looked at seriously, because if you don't, you don't pay attention to that. It's always going to be constant negative, regardless if you like it or not. There's always going to be something going on with that specific parent or that household, and a lot of children die because of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fathers are calling and saying, "Yo, this and that. I'm in fear of my other child being in trouble or being harmed. Can you go check up on them?" There's a lot of cases where they ignored the father. This shit is crazy out here. You know what I'm saying? So you wonder sometimes, is it a conspiracy for you to reject the father because they're out the house? What kind of shit is this? It's crazy. So there's the feelings of the good parent that actually been around to feed them for years, clothed them, took them to school, doctor's office, party, birthday parties, restaurant, anything you name it, family trips, family get-togethers or whatever. You got to look at that twice because those be the ones that go through this, that do the job, suffer the most. Seriously. They suffer the extreme most, and nobody's listening. Now they claim they do, but they don't listen. They don't give a shit. And it's the same. Certain men have to go out here and get angry at a few states or places that they live that's contributing to the unfitness. A majority of men sometimes something like I said, they don't want to harm the other parent or do anything or see anything happen under the care with their children, But you get some nasty. Like I said, this is not for everybody. I get some nasty women that will sit there in the midst of their damn children and make things worse for them because they refuse to listen to the other parent, and that shit's stupid. Something's really mental with that. Now, another thing I learned too by being in the at the birth table with my child a few times. They said that majority of women that have children, multiple children, they go through psychological problems eventually later on. And I didn't know nothing about that. See if I can get away from this. I didn't know nothing about that till later on. And how serious it is. But see, even if the other parent that's having so many children goes through a psychological problem, and it's like extreme, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't, and then they have a record of problems, and y'all don't pay attention to that shit, something's wrong with y'all too. Something's really wrong with y'all. I find that shit really quite disturbing that these things go on. So I wanted to just get on here and say that real quick. Me as a father, like I said, personally, dealing with that type of shit. These are the reasons why men worry about themselves, or eventually they start ignoring certain situations for a reason, because it keeps going. Nobody's going to fuel, what do you call it? It's like pouring gasoline on the fire. If the female has so much, what do you call it? Authority over the home, that's not good. That's not good. And it's like, if you keep fighting against the shit, especially living in Babylon, because Babylon is the daughter, the whore, the great whore. So they want to support certain behavior and pretend that if nothing is going on. Okay, they're going to support it, regardless if you like it or not. It's going to be deemed as if, we're going to get on this one person too. No, it doesn't happen like that. I've seen this shit in this court. I've been in that courtroom one time from a false call from a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So when you get in there and you start seeing more females than men or couples, that's a problem. That's a problem. I can only see two couples together in Philadelphia at that time. You know what I'm saying? And you you got some good parents that end up getting in the midst of maybe truancy or some shit for kids because the dumbass teachers don't want to accept the fact that they children have to go to the doctor or they're late or something happened, and then all of a sudden, this note shit. And then when you do turn the notes in, half the time the teacher doesn't take it to the office like they're supposed to, and then the parent gets blamed. It's stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's really crazy, especially when you sit amongst fathers that actually, and I didn't even see too many fathers. I seen a bunch of women at these places, and then some of the women look at you crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying 20, maybe 15 to 20 women sitting in. That's at one time I had to deal with a truancy situation with my child. I seen them sitting there, so I'm explaining to the judge and this and that what's going on. And they got in, that Pacific school at the time got into major trouble because it was basically the way I was speaking to them. And I mentioned that there is what do you call it? There's a hire thing that's going on in certain schools where they hire teacher aides based off of people that they're affiliated with personally. And what they do is, if they can't find extra help or a teacher's aide, they're bringing a parent. Okay. Now, the parent never goes through no, testing or none of that. Okay. Now, I witnessed this shit. Some of the teachers are leaving. The schools are overpacked. When those situations are going on and all this are being dumped on certain teachers that have to take probably 13 and 14 children in the classroom, it overwhelms a person. Understand that. But here it is. They don't memorize half the time the things that they have to do themselves. So sometimes they forget to turn those notes in for the students. And by the time it's time to get these attendance, updated, some of the information is missing. And then what happens? When they go to the teacher, the teacher says, "Oh, I don't remember getting anything," or "They didn't give me anything." When half the time the student comes in, like I used to do, what we used to do at staple the note, maybe a doctor's note or a personal note, to their book, they won't see it. Okay. So anyway, that's what I'm explaining to the judge at that time. So I says, yeah, that's going on there. And I dealt with a situation with them where, come on, notification. I dealt with a few situations where, if your child is kind of maybe acting up, every child get out their seat. Every child gets restless for sitting there in a damn seat for hours at a time. That's the problem in general to me. I never agreed on that for a long time. But some of these teachers are not able to take on these children. Okay, based off of maybe sometimes their behavior or whatever reason. Or they consider them slow or something like that. So they're finding a reason to get rid of them because the classrooms are packed. Now, this is what they don't mention this shit though, but they can mention every other unfit problem that everyone else is dealing with through the city on TV and shit as a game. I think it's funny how they destroying people's life. Okay, so I explained that to them. I said, then I called the school district when I found out that these notes was missing. Okay, and nothing was done. I said, but the classroom is packed, over 12, 13 of elementary damn students. I said, even though my school time, it wasn't that many kids like that, man. This is ridiculous, man. It looks like a damn high school classroom. And so yeah, I called the school district on them a lot of times, and I had to do what I had to do to protect myself as a parent. They're not going to keep disrespecting. I'm not the one for you to disrespect because you're in your stance as a so-called professional, but you're just as human as I am. You make mistakes, accept it. So, you know what I'm saying? This is what a lot of good fathers are dealing with. And if you're battling problems at home and then you got to deal with the school, then you got to deal with the extra shit. Come on, man. Certain men are really running from that shit. And I can understand it. Now, there's some that didn't run from that, but they still had to eventually separate because, you know, the outside haters and the third party is always up to no good. Disguised at that. So, I wanted to get up and say that. I'll be back on, I think, an hour where I'm talking about another subject. But yeah, don't always look at a lot of dads as if they don't do shit or they don't. Because if you don't know the full situation, no one's life, don't mention it, man. Me as a man, let me tell you, I stay out of people's business, personal business, when it comes to their children. Because that's a violation. Anybody that's getting on TV or social media talking about a man and his family or his children, you a sucker for that. You ain't real, you're a liar, and you ain't no good. Never do that. Never put yourself in the midst of somebody else's family, household problems. That shit ain't, I don't glorify that. It ain't hip. Better be careful what y'all be doing to people. Peace out.